What if I told you most money-saving tips you've been following are quietly keeping you stuck? You've watched the videos, you've learned how to budget and save money. You tried cutting subscriptions, skipping coffee, tracking every dollar. And yet, you're still not getting ahead. So you start thinking, maybe I'm just bad at saving money. But what if the real problem isn't you? What if the advice was built for a completely different world? A different economy, different cost of living, different rules? Because here's the truth. A lot of traditional advice about saving money was created decades ago, and today's financial reality doesn't play by those rules anymore. And that leads us to the first uncomfortable truth. Traditional budgeting is built for a different economy. If you feel like you're doing everything right and still can't get ahead, it's probably not your fault. Most advice about how to budget and save money was created for a completely different economy. Back then, one income could cover a house. Rent wasn't 40% to 50% of your paycheck. College didn't mean 20 years of debt. Groceries didn't feel like luxury shopping. Today, everything is more expensive, such as housing, insurance, healthcare, childcare. But income hasn't grown at the same speed. And yet the advice hasn't changed. You're still told, track every dollar. Use envelopes. Follow old school money saving tips. Just focus on saving money. But here's the problem. Traditional budgeting was designed for a time when expenses were stable and predictable. Now, rent jumps every year. Subscriptions silently multiply. Inflation eats your raise. One emergency can wipe out months of progress. That's why learning how to save money the old way feels exhausting. You're trying to win a modern game with outdated rules. It's like using a flip phone in a smartphone world. Even advice about the best ways to save money fast usually focuses on tiny tweaks, like cutting small things, while ignoring the massive structural costs crushing most people. So what should you do instead? Shift your focus. Attack big fixed expenses first, such as rent, car, debt. Increase income, even slowly. Automate investing, not just saving. Build margin, not just restriction. Budgeting still matters, but it's no longer enough by itself. And that leads to the next uncomfortable truth. Because while the economy changed, the advice didn't. And one of the biggest distractions, here it is, cut coffee, is a distraction from the real problem. If cutting coffee was the secret to getting rich, wouldn't baristas be broke? And everyone who drinks water be a millionaire? This is where most money-saving tips completely miss the point. We've all heard it. Stop buying $5 coffee. Cook every meal. Cancel Netflix. That's how to save money. And yes, technically that helps. But let's do simple math. You cut coffee and save $150 a month. Sounds good, right? Now, compare that to rent increased $400 this year. Car insurance up $80. Groceries up $200. Health insurance up again. See the problem? You're optimizing small leaks while ignoring the giant hole in the boat. A lot of advice about how to budget and save money focuses on tiny daily spending because it's easy to control. It feels productive. You feel disciplined. But discipline alone won't fix structural expenses. This is why so many people try every best ways to save money fast video and still feel stuck. Small cuts don't solve big financial pressure. And here's the dangerous part. When you focus too much on small spending, you start feeling guilty for enjoying life. You think buying a coffee is the reason you're behind. It's not. The real pressure usually comes from housing, debt interest, low income growth, taxes, healthcare. Instead of obsessing over tiny expenses, try this. Negotiate your biggest bills. Refinance high-interest debt. Consider relocating if rent is crushing you. Increase income through skills, side income, or career moves that will move your financial life way faster than skipping lattes. Cutting coffee isn't bad. It's just not the main character in your money story. And this leads to the next deeper issue. Even if you control spending perfectly, what happens when your income barely moves? That's where we need to talk about something popular right now. Cash stuffing doesn't fix income stagnation. Let me say something that might sound controversial. Cash stuffing is great for control, but terrible for growth. Don't get me wrong. If you struggle with overspending, cash stuffing can absolutely help. Physically putting money into envelopes for rent, food, or gas. It builds awareness. It forces discipline. It makes saving money feel real. But here's the uncomfortable truth. It manages limited money. It doesn't increase it. Imagine this. You earn $3,000 a month. Your fixed expenses are $2,700. You divide the remaining $300 into envelopes perfectly. You followed all the money-saving tips. You learned how to save money properly. You stayed disciplined. But at the end of the month, you still only have $300 margin. Now fast forward 1 year. If your income never increases, you're just getting better at surviving, not winning. That's the real issue nobody talks about. A lot of advice about how to budget and save money focuses heavily on controlling spending. But in many countries, income growth has slowed while living costs keep rising. You can't out-budget stagnant income forever. Here's a simple example. If you increase income by $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year. That moves your life way more than squeezing an extra $40 from grocery cuts. So what should you do? Keep budgeting. Yes. But pair it with income growth. Build a skill that pays more. Negotiate salary. Start a small side income. Invest in assets, not just envelopes. Budgeting is defense. Income growth is offense. And if you only play defense, you'll never build real wealth. Now here's where it gets even trickier. Because even when people try to automate their savings using technology, there's another hidden trap. And that brings us to the next point. Money-saving apps create the illusion of progress. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. What if your bank account feels better, but your financial life hasn't actually changed? This is the hidden trap of money-saving apps. Look, I'm not against them. In fact, some of the best apps to save money are super helpful. They round up your purchases, move small amounts automatically, track spending, show charts. It feels productive. It feels smart. You feel like you're finally mastering how to budget and save money. But here's the problem. Most of these apps optimize small numbers. They'll celebrate. Congrats, you saved $42 this month. Your roundups added $18. Cool, but your rent is $2,000. Your car payment is $600. Your insurance just went up again. See the gap? It creates the illusion of progress. It's similar to cash stuffing, great for awareness, great for discipline. But if income doesn't grow and big expenses don't change, your financial position barely moves. A lot of modern money-saving tips focus on automation because it's easy to sell. Set it and forget it. And yes, automation is powerful. But automation without strategy is just organized survival. Here's a simple illustration. Saving $50 a month with an app equals $600 a year. Negotiating your salary for a $5,000 raise equals $5,000 a year. One decision changes your life 8 times more. So what should you actually do? Use the apps, but don't rely on them. Instead, track your biggest 3 expenses. Make at least one income move per year. Eliminate high-interest debt first. Invest consistently, not just save. Let the apps support your system. Don't let them become the system. Because now we're getting to the final and most misunderstood advice of all. The rule everyone repeats without context. Save first. But here's the truth. Save first is incomplete advice. Let me say something that might flip what you've been told your whole life. Save first is good advice, but by itself, it can actually keep you stuck. We've all heard it. Pay yourself first. That's how to save money. It's one of the best ways to save money fast. And sure, on paper it sounds perfect. You learn how to budget and save money. You follow all the classic money-saving tips. You start saving money automatically, using money-saving apps or other apps to save money. Maybe you even try cash stuffing to stay disciplined. You're doing everything right. But here's the question nobody asks. What if your income is barely covering your life? Let's say you make $3,500 a month. Rent is $1,800. Car plus insurance, $700. Groceries, $500. Utilities plus subscriptions, $300. That's already $3,300. Now someone tells you to save money first, 20%. That's $700. Where is that supposed to come from? This is why a lot of people follow every list of tips for saving money and still feel stressed. The math doesn't work. Not because they're lazy, but because margin is too thin. Save first assumes you already have space. But if there's no space, the first move isn't saving. The first move is creating margin. Here's what to actually do. Kill high-interest debt before aggressively saving. Focus on increasing income, new skill, side income negotiation. Reduce one major fixed cost instead of 20 tiny ones. Then automate investing, not just hoarding cash. Saving is safety. Investing is growth. Income expansion is freedom. If you save $200 a month, that's $2,400 a year. But if you increase income by $500 a month, that's $6,000 a year, every year. See the difference? Save first isn't wrong. It's just incomplete without income strategy, expense strategy, growth strategy. Budgeting is step 1. Wealth building is step 2. And the reason most saving advice doesn't work anymore? It teaches survival in a world that now requires strategy. If you don't just want to survive, but actually get ahead, you need more than old rules. You need a modern money framework. If this video is useful, please share and comment. And if you like financial content like this, like and subscribe this channel. Hundreds K.